Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Cooking with Mohana. Today I'm going to be showing you butter chicken. It had been requested by a lot of people a lot of times and they wanted a healthy version of this dish. Butter chicken is one of those dishes which can never be healthy, so I'm going to try and show you a version which is probably healthier than a lot of other versions. To start off, I'm gonna take a spring foam cake tin. You can use any other oven proof dish, and I'm adding dahi. You can also use yogurt if you don't have dahi available. Then I'm gonna use a teaspoon of corn flour. You can use besan flour, which is gram flour, chickpea flour, or maida, whatever, something to bind the yogurt together so it doesn't split. And I'm using some red chili powder. I'm using the Kashmiri variety, which gives color. You can use paprika or cayenne if you want a little bit of heat to it. Then I'm going to add in a dollop of ginger garlic paste. You can add about 2 teaspoons and a teaspoon and a half of salt. And then I'm going to throw in the chicken, give it a nice mix and let it rest. If you can let it rest overnight, nothing better than that. But if you can't, then at least let it rest for 2 hours in your refrigerator. So this is what it looks like once you dump in all of the chicken and coat it all in the yogurt mixture. I realized I had forgotten to use turmeric, so I added about a teaspoon of that. So I'm gonna give it a nice mix once again and set it aside for 2 hours, and then I'm gonna quickly jump over and start prepping the other stuff required to make this dish. So we're gonna take a vessel and pour in some water in it and set it to boil. Don't forget to add a little bit of salt in that, and we're gonna do this crisscross thing at the back of the tomatoes and set them into the water and let it blanch. So you need the skin to peel off. Time to make the most important ingredient of the butter chicken, the white paste, and we'll put in some cashews. Cashews are really healthy, so go a little generous on that. And we'll add in melon seeds or charmagaj seeds. I'm using the roasted ones, you can use the normal ones too. And add in a little bit of water and make a nice paste out of it. Then we'll move on to making the tomato paste. So the tomatoes have been blanched, you can see the skin peeling off. We'll put them in ice cold water or regular temperature water so that the skin peels off easily. And then we're going to make a paste of it. We're going to put them into a mixer and pour it into a nice smooth paste. Once done, the paste should look like this. This is how the tomato paste will look like, and the white paste is going to look like that. Time to put the chicken into the oven. So we're going to broil it or bake it for a good 45 minutes in 250 degrees Celsius. Now you'll need to chop up some onions and ginger and garlic. Time to get cooking. So we're gonna get a new vessel and pour in a little bit of oil and add a dollop of butter. You should always add oil before adding butter because butter kind of burns very quickly. And then we're gonna add the chopped ginger and garlic. After a little while, you'll see the ginger and garlic starts browning a little bit, and this is your cue to add in the chopped onions. So we'll wait for that to turn golden in color or become at least translucent before we add in the rest of the ingredients. Now is when we drop in our white paste and the tomato paste, and we'll start to season our gravy too. So you see I've added about a teaspoon of cumin powder and then a good generous amount of Kashmiri red chili powder. Now again, this one doesn't add heat, it only gives color. I added about 2 teaspoons of coriander powder, and we'll give it a nice mix. I added another teaspoon of red chili powder in the end, and we'll give it a nice mix. So the red chili powder makes the gravy really reddish in color, and butter chicken is always it has the color, and the best way to do that is not to add any food coloring. So we'll give it a nice mix. We'll add in a little bit of water and bring it to a boil for a good 10 minutes before we drop in the chicken. Time to add our chicken, which is done baking, so it looks nice and cooked. If you taste it right now, it's gonna taste like tandoori chicken, but we're gonna add it to the gravy and we'll again cook it for 15 minutes. So you see the gravy is simmering and it's done cooking, so we'll add the last bit of seasoning. I've again added a little bit of red chili powder, and we are finishing it off with 2 heaped teaspoons of garam masala powder and a nice generous dollop of butter. So I'm not adding the cream, but I have to add butter, otherwise it's not butter chicken. So you see, like I said, butter chicken is never a completely healthy recipe. And we'll sprinkle in a little bit of Kasoori Methi to give that nice flavor to the curry, and finish it off by resting it for another couple of minutes. You must have noticed that I have used chicken with bones, and butter chicken generally has boneless chicken, but I feel the real taste and flavor of chicken comes from the bones. So feel free to use boneless chicken, but if you're like me and you like your chicken really juicy and moist and succulent, then please add chicken with bones. So you see, the butter chicken is done and ready. I haven't added any fresh cream, but you can always improvise, and if you're not very health conscious, feel free to add in a little bit of heavy cream. I'm going to finish it off with a teaspoon of heavy cream and make it look like how restaurants do it, with white freckles on top. I'm going to finish it with a sprinkle of Kasoori Methi, and that's it. The butter chicken is done and ready to be consumed. So there you have it, butter chicken, the highly requested video of the year. And serve it with some hot naan or tandoori roti, some onions, chilies, hari dhania chutney, and enjoy. And do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel as usual. Bon appetit!